So, as we learned yesterday, what is the main thing that Buddhists believe? Starts with a K.
Karma.
Good. Now, what is karma? What did we say it was? What is karma?
It's when the things you do results in what you get in the future, and the results you get is due to something you did in the past.
What you do leads to a result. The result comes from what you do. So if you want to have a good result, obviously you have to do a good cause, right? And if you do a good cause, you can expect a good result. If you do a bad cause, what can you expect? A result. If you have a bad result, what can you expect? A bad cause, right? Now, the second part of the lesson is today's class, which is there are 3 ways to make karma, okay? The first one is from your mouth. You can have mouth karma based on what you say, right? We live in a world where everyone has a mouth. Who has a mouth? Raise your hand. So with that mouth, Vanda, did you raise your hand? Good. Everyone who has a mouth can talk. And if they talk, they can say good things or bad things. So that means you can have good karma from things you say and bad karma from things you say. The second type is from your actions. Everyone has a body. We can do things, right? We can massage people. We can punch people, right? We can give people things and we can steal things, right? These are considered actions. Actions can be good karma or bad karma. And the third one is thinking. So what you think can either be a good thinking or a bad thinking. These are the 3 ways to create karma. Can you remember? So what are they? Mouth. Actions. Okay. Now, we're going to listen to a short story. This story is a story that somebody helped record yesterday, and we're going to tell the story. And after the story is over, I'm going to ask you what each person did. Was it good karma or bad karma? And was it speech karma, mouth karma, body karma, action karma, or thought karma? Okay? So once upon a time, there was a father who was a drummer. He was a good drummer. And he had a son who he also taught how to be a good drummer. They weren't very rich. So one day they heard there was a big party and festival in Golden Gate Park. Okay? So they said, hey, let's take our drums and go to Golden Gate Park and play the drums. Maybe people will give us some money. And the son's like, okay. So the father and son went to Golden Gate Park right in the middle and had a big musical performance. They were awesome. They learned the drums from Kuting, so she taught them how to do the drums, and they had learned all the best songs, okay? And they performed the songs, and all the nice people gave them a lot of money, and they both went home with bags of money, okay? Now, everybody was happy. The father was happy. We have money. We can buy food, we can buy clothes, we can pay for our rent. Yay, we're so happy. The son was happy. Yay, we have money. I can buy toys. I help my family. I'm so happy. But he was a little bit too happy. He wanted to celebrate. So in the middle of the forest, walking home, he started hitting his drums. Boom. Started playing his drums like really loud and fun. His father said, hey, son, you need to be careful. In this place, there might be some bad people who might want to rob us. You have to understand, we have a lot of money on us. If we get robbed, we lose everything, and we might even get hurt. So please don't play the drums. And the son at first listened. And so they walk. And then the son's like, I'm bored. There's nobody here. I don't see anybody. I don't hear anybody. So he starts playing his drums again. And dad's like, hey, stop. Okay, fine. If you're not gonna stop and you have to play, at least play a marching rhythm so that people who hear it will think that we have an army with us. And the son's like, okay. So he's like, doom, 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 doom. He's like, this is boring. Why am I playing such a boring tune? I want to play a song. And the father's like, don't do that, don't do that. We're going to get robbed. The son's like, old man doesn't know what he's talking about. So he didn't listen to his father. Well, guess what happened? They got robbed. So all the bandits, at first, when they heard the marching sound, they all ran away because they thought there was an army here. But then when they heard the fun music, the playful music, they realized, oh, it's just a little boy playing his drums. So they beat them up, and then they robbed all the money. And then the father's laying on the floor, hurt. The son's laying on the floor, hurt. They stole the drums, they stole the money. And the father says, this is what happens when you have people who don't have good sense. When you have people that don't think, don't listen, and they're not careful, bad things can happen to them very easily. And so it's very important that we pay attention. We listen to advice, and we're always trying to be careful. It's very important for us. Okay? Now that's the end of the story. Now my question for you guys is, can someone give me some examples of speech karma in this story? Good or bad? Achi?
Dad was telling his son to be careful with the drums with the intention of him not getting hurt.
Yes. So the father warning the son of danger is good karma or speech karma. He's using his mouth to help teach his son. That's one type of karma. What else? Who else can think of other types of karma here? Can you think of any? Abby?
Action karma of the guy not listening to his father and getting beat up.
Which part is the action?
Him getting beat up.
Okay, no, that's good. If he's getting beat up, who did the beating up?
Bandits.
So the bandits did bad physical karma. Does that make sense? So the bandits hitting the son and the dad, they're creating bad body karma. Does that make sense? Okay. What else? Who else created karma in this story? Did anyone create good karma with the body? For example, when the father and the son played the music very well, was that considered good karma? Yes, they did a good action, they had a good result, and they got money for it. They were happy. You see, they practiced, they trained, they performed, and they got rewarded. That's a good line of events. Anything else you can think of? How about bad thinking karma? Aim, I want you to tell me. Did the son have bad thinking karma?
Yes,
How?
because he was thinking that his father was how is it? His father was not knowing what he was thinking and not listening to him.
Thinking disrespectful. Oh, my dad doesn't know what he's talking about. Dad is just complaining. Dad is so annoying. That is bad thinking karma. How about bad thinking karma for the bandits? Jasmine, was there any bad thinking karma for the bandits?
Yeah. Like
Okay, how about you?
thinking to steal the money from jobs.
Exactly. They had the thought and the intention to steal, to hurt, right? To take advantage. That is bad thinking karma, right? Good job. So do you guys see that in every story, people will have good karma and bad karma through the mouth for talking, through the body from actions, and through the mind from thinking. So when you live your life, you have to be careful for all three of these. Okay? Now, what are some examples of bad karma? This is an easy question. What are some examples of bad karma through the body and through the mouth? For example, do you remember when we chanted earlier before the class? We said what? Panatipata. Do you remember that? What does that mean? Do not kill or hurt people, right? So killing and hurting is karma of what part? Body, mouth, or brain? Mm-hmm. What was number 2? Atinatana. Don't steal. Is stealing from the body or from the mouth or from the brain? Mm-hmm. Number 3. This is like the sexual misconduct, right? That's also what? Body. What about number 4? Don't lie, don't slander, don't gossip. What is that one? The mouth, right? And then what is the last one? Don't drink and don't do drugs.
That's physical.
That's also body. So you see the 5 precepts also help you remember what bad karma is. Okay? Good. Sadhu. Let's receive the blessing, okay?